I don't think people understand the value of what's being really expressed. Some, it's that's why I say so many people they just like the feel good information. Keith. They just
Yeah.
like information. They looking for. I need to save my house. They don't really want to be free.
Yeah, exactly. They end up making things more difficult than they really are, and that's because of the public education telling us to remember things, and that's literally what they do. They remember those things, and it closes their mind to be open that there really is a different way. If you really understood what's going on, there are so many options, and all you have to do is start applying them. It really is that simple.
You know what's so funny? If like Ohio, right? I was gonna do a video today to show 'em, like they even tell you in the rules of evidence about books, records, and memorandums, and all of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, my
So
favorite is Rule
the
17.
Bible,
Go ahead.
on what the rules of evidence,
Yeah, Rule
on the rules
17.
of evidence.
Party, plaintiff and defendant capacities. Maybe that's civil procedure. I don't know, but one of them is it's the plaintiff and defendant capacities. And what nobody's realizing is they're failing to mention the indispensable party, the guy that has to sign everything. Without that, they have no jurisdiction whatsoever. Period.
Well, well, how is they? Well, I understand what they're doing for us with these contracts. They forcing people to in these bilateral contracts is forcing it down your throat.
Yep.
And most people get scared and don't know what to do.
Right. And that's why
And
I
they
mentioned that.
don't wanna
That's why I mentioned that political subdivision. Realizing what the term subdivision means will hopefully help people comprehend they're losing out on the contract, because that's exactly what they're doing. If you're losing out of the contract, like I said, either quit the contract or learn how to contract. That's coining your words or pursing your lips. And like you said,
oh
the Torah and the Quran and the Bible, these scriptures, that's where everything comes from. And all those scriptures are all in agreement to the same main principle and concept. And that's do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Every last one of them. Show me one that isn't. So does that make sense, guys? Starting at where I'm at on the World Wide Web, and then trying to let it trickle down and fixing things as they pop up. I mean, with my companion, I got to do it a little bit different, but at the same time, she's still under my trust. So I still get to enforce my international recognition as a trustee for her. That's a lot of power, guys. And I don't take it lightly. They better not either.
so what I've been expressing on the international forum is I'm putting everything in a book. The book is going to be published and it's going to create a record in jurisdiction because that's how they used to do it before.
Yep.
So I'm publishing a book, get an ISBN number, and now it will be in the Library of Congress, and now it will be on the international forum.
Yes. Yes. That's why I do that's why I'm posing the opposite, and that is just adopting the Library of Congress. That way you're adopting all of those other books. You're not
Right.
just placing your book amongst others, you're adopting all of those other books. And this is the important thing about the term library. It's a Liber forum. But let me try to figure this out again. I had it just a second ago, but my mind circles.
Well, I understand the
The unit
methodology.
Libra is that funny little element that looks like omega, and it
Yeah,
literally stands for weights and measures. The measure form, the form of the measure, substance over form, everything.
exactly.
So the
Exactly.
substance, the intent of the words overrides the form. So, and remember, people, book, the etymology of book is Bible. So think about that. That's what your library should be, is Bibles, books.
Look, look. That's what I'm doing. Like, if you look at everything they do, right, they got books. They got all these jurisprudence. They got all these law books,
Oh.
right? That's their Bible. That's the stuff that they believe in, right?
And all we're going to do is make our own book. Like I've got my own, but I keep it private, and I'm adopting their books.
Right.
But you can still do it the same way. Okay, that's like having your own library card there.
And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna build my own library because every nation's supposed to have their own library or history of records. This is why we're dealing in the laws of succession. So you can go and look at the books. It's about the weights and measures, and you can deal in your inherent rights. So
Exactly.
their whole purpose is to steal your inheritance.
Your inheritance is your knowledge, people, not your coins, not your wealth. It's your knowledge.
If you know what took me out? The brother put the treasurer, and it meant thesaurus, and I looked it up, and it did. So when we think about knowledge, right, wealth, they got a plethora of books of knowledge. That's what that's their knowledge.
Yeah. And you notice the mission statement of that Hatha Trust involving all those universities in the Library of Congress is for the common good and the advancement of human knowledge and culture. I agree. What greater purpose could there be than the common good? Common good is very, very open, people. That's a common good of all life. Like I explained earlier, any life out there, big or small, he provides for all of it. But at the same time, if we see a life that's dangling out there in those waters or in trouble on land, we have a duty. We have rights, and with those rights come duties. Pure and simple. And that's all we got to do. We don't have to write them all down and explain, well, if this happens, if the doctor stops along the roadway because he saw an accident and he's got a medical license, then he's got to practice under that medical license. No, it don't work that way. Nope. Again, why I say get rid of the confluence of the emotions and start thinking with the simplicity of what's truly in your heart, right and wrong. That's it. It's the only two. Those are that's the only subject matter, right and wrong. That's the only subject that matters. Is it right or wrong? And that's in your heart. So yeah, and King, you're absolutely right. That library is important. You got to have a foundation of knowledge. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, not wisdom. The knowledge is the words that are written down that are passed on so the next generation can read them and comprehend them so they can then practice them and come up with their own greater wisdom by improving upon their actions of those words. Actions speak louder than words. This is the access to wisdom.
And I'm gonna tell you what I love about Ohio. I started looking at when I was looking at the subdivisions and the chapters and relating them to the rules, I started finding some of the same verbiage, like in the rules of evidence, and they talk about books and all of that under, I forgot the particular rule. And then I started looking at that at the probate. I said, they're saying the same thing. So I was just saying, we're going to create our own law library, our own books, our own credence, our own customs, so that we can say, this is what we follow. This is who we are. We come in peace. We don't do this and we don't do that. So now they can't say, okay, because all they doing is extending their jurisdiction through contracts through your consent.
Right. And that's what Mike was talking about earlier in regards to the municipality. When we turn around and realize that the municipal codes are actually just publications that they have another publishing company publish for them, construing what their state codes say. And that's what they write as municipal code. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to construe them more accurately, though, and remove the commercial element so they have that greater superior standing to defeat one's opponent without fighting. You do it prior. You go de novo. You go back to the origins. Their origins are based on publications of what's already in the public domain. We're going to use those same publications. They get all those statute codes. Those are in the Library of Congress, every last one of them. So again, like I said, I can just adopt the Library of Congress. Now I've got those codes, and anytime they want to try to use, they have to prove that I'm operating commercially when they can't. It's an impossibility. It has to be an assignment under commercial contract for the obligation of performance to take place.
Okay, but example you were saying earlier, like our house is on the tax roll. Okay, they're going to send you a bill every year, and they don't give a damn if you're in commercial, you're commercial or not. They want to steal that money. And if you don't pay it, they'll steal your house. They're all about stealing.
No, I'm telling you, people, they're not about stealing. They're caught up in the cognitive dissonance of just doing their job. See, they're getting paid by a time frame, folks. They've got a contract, an application to work or an appointment or an assignment, and they've got a certain time. Okay, most people it's 1 year. In that 1 year, all they're doing is just their job.
People are doing their job, but the orders from above, they're doing it to
And
steal.
that's why we got to tell them, okay, if you're just doing your job, I need to speak to somebody else that can work with me in mutual agreement, because I can't get you to mutually agree with what I'm trying to tell you, because you've got somebody you're telling me is telling you something. I want to talk to them then.
Okay, now here's the thing. Whenever this is put together, see, they're for profit. Okay, that's what makes the difference. A real government is not for profit. Okay, and so if they were that way, I could fully take what they're saying then. If they were trying to make it and they're not for profit, but see, they've got such a surplus of credits, they don't need our money. They're doing it to rob us. And we got to get out of that system. Really, we shouldn't be there. That's what that's telling me, is we're in a place we shouldn't be.
Correct. And I'm not there. I've expressed, I've even got a PayPal account. And despite the fact that it uses Federal Reserve notes at the moment, one day I hope to be able to load that up or switch it and exchange it for an environmental protection government-wide purchase card, so that all of the transactions I use are on that card, and it's already known as an automatic transaction as a tax write-off. It's a donation from the Keith Orland Little Faith-Based Union for all bills and receipts for Keith Orland Little.
Yeah.
Right. And what I do is I turn around and exchange all those receipts in at the end of the quarter or the year, and I'm indemnified. Those credits get put back on the account.
Right.
Okay, here's the thing I'm looking at. I got involved in the wrong system. Okay, that's my fault. All right, I'm coming out of her and getting in the proper system so that I'm not processed. And I think when I'm paying somebody to do a duty for me, they have a fiduciary duty with me in a contract of the understanding, okay, that's the way I normally operate in my community. But when you go down the county, it's nothing like that. Okay. It seems like it's artificial, and whatever they say goes, and whatever I say has no application. So that shows I'm at the wrong place, aren't I?
Like I keep telling everybody, those are administrative courts. And if you're dealing with the administrative courts, you're operating as a trustee in contract. Can't do that.
Right. Even though I'm technically the beneficiary, they'll never see me as the beneficiary in that system. So I pack up and get out of that system and pull my credits and my assets over to this new system, the postal, and then I can live happily ever after, can I? Because I'm not mingling with them. I'm not co-mingling or mingling or nothing of that sort.
Right. I can't say live happily ever after, because everything is a trial and tribulation. You got to remember, we're just like a lot of people describe in history as forefathers and great-minded people and stuff that are coming up with new concepts. I hear this all the time. I've never heard it. And you yourself say, well, yeah, I think you're on the right track, because I've never heard. And it makes sense. But it's not my credit. All glory goes to him. And like I say many times, people ask me, well, why do you follow such a hard path? I don't. It's the only path I see. And that is taking each step one at a time and always seeking his immutable counsel to make sure that I am doing what is good. I can't live beyond that.
I'm taking, like, the reason, like, me and Keith, like, I clicked up with Keith. As I listen to Keith, I can hear me in Keith. I can hear the message in Keith. The one thing that I'm doing is doing by will. I'm doing the codicil. See, I have an inherent right by the Most High to have dominion over the earth, the fowl of the air, the cattle, the beasts, and every creepy thing This is my divine right. I'm putting myself back in my divine right, in my divinity, and claiming my inheritance through my will, and then putting my will, my the Bible, I mean the Quran, as my living trust. That now it's all been recognized globally around the world. It's even in the Library of Congress. It's a book that's
Yeah,
globally recognized around the world. So that's my living trust. You see
exactly.
what I'm saying?
It's just an
So,
express trust, and that's why I say mine's express too. It's just done on the electronic form. When you do it in that way, you're expressing it in paper form. And I agree. It's the paper form that's important. The only difference again is you've entered yours into the Library of Congress with an ISBN number, and I've not done that. I could, but technically, again, it's already there because it's on the electronic form, which is the forum that they're using nowadays with the intent to sign. So that's the derivative form of a paper form that can be drawn up at any point in time. But it's saving in storage space by not having to print that paper up unless it's absolutely required.
and
Paperwork Reduction Act.
so now I'm taking with my book, I got all my information in there. And when I go to court, I take that in the Quran.
Yep. Yep. Now you've got an ISBN number with the Quran, ISBN number with your book, and an ISBN number with the Library of Congress.
So now I don't have to, I think a lot of people is making this cumbersome. And I think, like myself, I'm going to do a live tomorrow and break down some of the stuff that I was going to do tonight. But I mean, earlier. But I think, I think a lot of us like need to really like just pay close attention. And y'all making this sacrifice on these Fridays, like I'm gonna be here every day. Like every time Keep is on, I'm not missing nothing because it's very important that we stick together and compare notes. It's
And,
just
and one of the things before I have to go here, I've got another Zoom I'm supposed to be going to. But one of the things I want to impress is when we were talking about that public trust and how they're talking about the navigable waters and this and that and uh, commercial platforms. That's the importance again of establishing myself on the World Wide Web. That's that public trust expressed, whether it's on navigable waters or commercial forum or not. It's in an open forum that is not commercial or navigable waters. It's the electronic form, which is ether.
what is it?
So anyway, I'm sorry I can't keep it going any longer, but I appreciate again you guys showing up, like I said, on Friday nights, just like King was saying, because I'm going to keep doing this Monday through Friday. And when I'm done with reconciling the master trust account, I'm going to go and compile it so it's much easier for others to comprehend, because hopefully by then I'll have an actual set of process. Like
Awesome.
King asked last night, that was a very important question before we left out. I posted on it. The important aspect is that I established on an international web, and my intent is to just let it trickle down simply by pulling all the truth out of this system and showing them where I see the inconsistencies and where the truth is actually at. So fill in those inconsistencies, pure and simple. And hopefully, like I said, I shouldn't have to do any more paperwork. Again, I'll have to deal with my companion and paperwork there, but in my own situation, I should be able to just pull records like the local county courthouse here has on record in their court files that I supposedly owe $8,600 some dollars, and it's listed as a financial index. And that is the power to lay and collect taxes as indexed by the congressional record known as the Library of Congress. Now, I don't see any debt listed on that. So these guys are making a false claim. And I can confirm that with the Department of the Treasury, who says every 6 months when I call in to see if there's any claim made as a public or private debt against the person, nope, we don't see anything. So somebody's making a false claim. Is it me or them? I don't know. We'll let the world decide. And that's the whole basis. Pull their record forward and let them know, hey, you've made a false claim. Treasury Department here says no. You say, yeah, the dispute's not between me, it's between you. I'm questioning which one's right because I don't know. I'm an idiot. I don't know how you guys work things. So think about it. And remember again, folks, if it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing this. God bless. I love you all. Again, I'll post those links when the Zoom file uploads. Let me get this one taken care of before, and now that one will show up, and we'll get the bonus as well. That was my mistake in missing the bonuses. I've got to upload the other video first before this one finishes up. So again, my apologies on that, and my apologies for having to cut short, but I'm already late for the other Zoom. Meantime, again, God bless. I love you all. Bye. And yes, King, we'll get together.